Welcome to the Wrestle Story. We discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Wednesday after AEW and NXT, and every Friday after SmackDown. Hello, James and Jono. How's it going?
What's up? How's it hanging, everybody? How we doing? How's it going? How's it hanging?
It's hanging great.
Great. Good to know.
Yes.
So, today, NXT AEW. Dang, both shows were good.
Yes.
Good evening. Maven looks like someone from the 80s.
What do I look like, Scott?
I've been doing that a lot lately. I don't know. 80s are...
Hello, Scott and Zando.
80s are cool. I like the 80s. I think the 80s, like everything about it's cool. So
Zando, don't ever come into this chat and say that again. Okay?
I've kind of been... That's what I've been doing as of late.
Don't ever come in and say that again.
So, you look like you, Mr. D.
That was my plan.
So, tonight...
I'm doing good then.
I suppose so, yeah. NXT and AEW...
Both shows were definitely good.
100% agree with that. Both shows were good from, like, top to bottom. I honestly don't really have much to complain about this week. Because a lot of it was good.
I just wish NXT would have, like, promoted this one.
That will be the one thing I will say about it, is I do wish that the promotion of... and I'll kind of talk more... I guess we'll talk about it first. We'll talk about NXT first. So the promotion of the Great American Bash, they didn't do anything for it until last week.
Yes.
Last week was the first time that they made any mention of doing the Great American Bash. Was the first time that they were like, oh, it's going to be a 2-week event. And so, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get the whole idea of not promoting your show, you know, and not really building up storylines for said show. Does that make sense? Like, at least things that make sense, you know? So, NXT. We start off with Camden versus... Camden? I don't know who Camden is, but we start off with Candice versus Tegan versus Mia versus Dakota. Winner gets a shot at Io for the women's title. You know what I think would have been genius with this? If they had said that the winner gets a shot at Io next week.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe that's how they'll play it out, but I think it would have made more sense if they're trying to make next week's show big. I know they already have the Keith Lee, the Adam Cole match, which is great. But they can have a main event for each hour, and they can do Adam Cole, Keith Lee in the main event of the second hour. And they could have done Io versus the winner of this match in the first hour. You know? Like, I think that would have been smart.
Yes.
And maybe that's still what they'll do, but they haven't said that that's what they're going to do. So.
Yeah.
You know.
So what's going to be the main event for Fyter Fest next week?
I don't know. Oh, I do know. Hold on. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Candice versus Tegan versus Mia versus Dakota. Winner gets a shot at Io. Candice is eliminated first. I didn't realize this was an elimination match. I feel like they didn't really make that clear that this was an elimination match. I don't know why that word is so hard to say. Elimination match. I didn't realize that it was an elimination match until Candice got pinned, and I was like, oh, Mia won. And then I was like, no, she didn't. She didn't win because Candice is just eliminated. Cool. Which is fine. Like, but just specify it.
Yeah.
Make it more clear that it's an elimination match, you know? So, Candice has gone first. She gets eliminated. They said elimination match several times, I thought. Maybe they didn't. I just missed it.
Her ears were plugged.
Like, I feel like building up to this, I don't remember them saying that it was an elimination match. Like, I don't remember that being said. Maybe I'm just forgetting.
Yeah, it
and I didn't pay attention.
We all forget sometimes.
But, I don't know. I didn't realize it was an elimination match. So Candice has gone first. Mia then gets eliminated. And then we're down to Dakota and Tegan. And these two, man, they fought to the depths, man. It was good. There were a lot of back and forth spots, and I thought it was epic. There was the finishing sequence, I think is what it was, with like the power bomb or whatever. Not the power bomb, like the spin. The Tegan jumped off the rope and flipped in the air, and senton.
Yeah.
Senton? Is that what it's called? Whatever, sorry, I'm drawing a blank. She jumped, she flipped in the air, and she, like, nearly didn't land on Dakota because Dakota was so close, and I, like, nearly had a heart attack. But she landed it, and then she, like, pinned her, and it was great. Like, it was epic. I thought
Scott wanted Dakota.
I thought Dakota was gonna win.
Eating ice cream while talking to you guys.
I thought...
What kind of ice cream are you eating, Jonah?
The Molly go round. Yeah, that. I thought that Dakota was winning. I really did, just because of the way they built it up and what she's done. But no, Tegan won. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I'm totally cool with Tegan versus Io. I think it'll be a good match. There might be some interference from Dakota. I hope not, but there might be, because I just want them to have a nice, clean match down the line. Just let them fight. Like, you don't need to have Dakota involved in every freaking Tegan storyline you do, okay? I get it. They were friends at one point in time. They beat the crap out of each other. I get it. But, like, let's just move on from that for just a little bit. I'm tired of Vince and Triple H treating Dakota like literally like crap. I don't think she's being treated like crap, though. Like, she's on TV every week in some capacity. This is the first time she's lost in a while. She's been beating people left and right.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think she's been treated like crap, honestly.
Tegan won.
Yes.
So that's...
I like Tegan.
Yeah.
Tegan's cool. Long-term storytelling for more games, and Tegan finally beat Dakota. I thought Tegan already beat Dakota. I thought Tegan's beat Dakota like twice. Like before this. Did she? Did she not? Like I don't even remember. But I thought she already beat her. You got me, man. So
Dakota's gonna get her shot, James.
She will at some point in time. It's just
after Tegan beats Io.
I think that could be cool. Because okay, here's long-term storybooking. Tegan beats Io. Io goes with Asuka. Asuka and Io go after the tag team championships. They win the tag team championships, and then they defend those for a bit, while Sasha and Bayley feud.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
I think that would be cool. I think that would be smart.
I think that is where we were headed.
I think it'd be a good spot, and I think it'd be fun because I just like the idea of Asuka and Io paired together.
Yeah.
Tegan has no chance versus Io. I mean, normally I would agree with you, yes, but I feel like if they're gonna do like Io and Asuka, I feel like she needs to like. They could be champs and go after the tag team titles and be cool, but I don't know. So Tegan wins. It's great. We then get a Damian Priest interview. Have no idea what was said here. Didn't have the headphones in. I was paying attention to AEW. I apologize. Probably something about Cameron Grimes. That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the trip he's on now. It's Cameron Grimes. Because Cameron Grimes is great. So we then get Timothy Thatcher versus Oney Lorcan. This was another really good, hard-hitting match. I love Oney Lorcan. I think his theme is great. I think he's just like such a fun character. Like, he just wants to beat people up, you know? And like, he's a brawler. He's a tough dude. But Timothy Thatcher is tougher. And I like Timothy Thatcher a lot too, and I think they're headed in a really great direction with him, where he's sort of this just killer, you know? He just wants to rip somebody's arm off. And I think he had this sort of crazy look in his eye after the match was over and after he beat Lorcan. So I think that, like, I think this is real good, and I think this is heading in a really interesting direction, and I'm liking it. I really am. So, yeah, Thatcher won. Like I said, great, hard-hitting match. Love the submissions. I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fyter Fest match of the night. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Best Friends. AEW Tag Team Championship. What a night of wrestling. I thought it was a good night tonight, too.
So we then get a Cross and Scarlet video, and essentially they're just like, TikTok. Reckoning day's coming, man. You watch out. He's getting involved in that match next week, isn't he? Adam Cole and
Yes.
Keith Lee?
I would say so.
I think he is. I really think he is. I think he is.
Kyrie is not coming back.
Well, I don't know about that.
Ever.
I don't know about that.
She moved to Japan.
No, she didn't. For crying out loud. Jeez. No, she didn't. So,
You're right. That's where she lives anyway. So she didn't really move. She just went back home.
So, yeah, Cross and Scarlett. I think Cross is going to get involved, or Scarlett's going to get involved, or somebody's going to get involved in the match next week, is what I think.
Yes, I would agree.
What does everybody else think? Because I'm thinking that's what's happening here.
Yes.
I think so.
I agree. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's where we're headed. That's kind of where I thought we'd head anyway.
I think that... See, I don't necessarily know if Cross is going to be involved, like, in the when the actual match is going on, or if he's just going to, like, do some stuff after. You know? Because I think somebody's walking out with both titles.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately happening. I don't think it's going to be...
Well, whoever loses, I think, is going to be going to one of either Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah. I don't know. I really thought that they were going to put both belts on Keith Lee, but now I'm not so sure.
Match of the night, Roderick Strong versus Dexter Lumis strap match.
That was another good match.
Yes.
It really was. So I, like...
Hang tough, Scott.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn now on who is actually going to walk out with the championship. Technically, championship.
I think Keith Lee will.
See, that's what I was thinking at first, but now I'm not so sure because they're on this Adam Cole trip with Cross, and I feel like it'd just be so weird to jump from Cross, like, being like, oh, I'm going after Adam Cole.
What if it's a way to transition Cross to the main roster?
For, like, what?
So Cole leaves.
So maybe it wasn't about the NXT Championship at all. It was just about Adam Cole?
Yeah.
Maybe that could be what they're doing, but also at the same time, I'm almost like, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, though. Like, I mean, like, what's the deal with Adam Cole? Like, why do you want to beat the crap out of Adam Cole?
You bring two of your biggest stars up to the main roster, and you're going to hope you get a ratings boost.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, I suppose. That would make sense. So, after this, we get Rhea Ripley versus Robert Stone versus... No, not versus. Rhea Ripley. Let's try that again. Up next, we get...
Rhea Ripley versus Robert Stone versus... No, not versus.
Rhea Ripley versus Robert Stone and Aaliyah. Jeez. I didn't like this.
Nah, me neither.
I don't like the way they did this. I think Rhea should have lost. I think Robert Stone and Aaliyah should have won, and that Rhea should have had to join the Robert Stone brand.
I got a feeling it's not done. They're going to do something else.
I mean, they probably will, but I feel like the Robert Stone he should have won. Because, I mean, he was really just top-notch. Like,
Rhea's going to come out and go, you pathetic little man. I'm going to join you just to help you out.
I don't think so. I really want Keith Lee to win, but if Killer Cross doesn't interfere, then who walks out the true winner? See, that's what I just don't know.
I think Keith Lee wins. Because I think they will move...
Well, then what do you do with
Cole's going to move up.
What do you do with the rest of Undisputed Era, then? Do they just go with him?
Yeah.
See, if they do that, I want the Messiah versus... I want Messiah and his crew fighting Undisputed Era, but they need a fourth person first.
Well, maybe this is kind of how they bring it up and do it.
Ripley feels so directionless, plus her babyface run is not working. I agree with that. Yes. I don't know what direction Rhea Ripley's going into. I thought that what might have been a good idea was to have her lose this match and have to join the Robert Stone brand, and then maybe make the Robert Stone brand something more legitimate. And, you know, I just don't know. I'm just not into Rhea right now. Like, there really is nothing about her that makes me sit here and say, I can't wait to see her next match. Or I can't wait to see what her next feud is going to be. Because there's just nothing there. There really isn't. And I just don't care at this moment in time.
In case anyone cares, Becky's still in LA. And Seth stayed in Iowa. Glad Seth is taking precautions. He probably is somewhat.
Like, I just don't know. So, yeah. Rhea won. He's great. We then get Lumis versus Roddy in a strap match. This is another fun match. Lumis, star in the making. Lumis is great. Lumis won the match. Right call. This is the right call. Like I said, Lumis is a star in the making, dude. There's just something about him also that's like, it's so intriguing, and
he's a psycho character.
I get that, and I totally understand that. But there's just something about him that's so intriguing that makes you sit there and kind of scratch your head and go, well, I can't wait to see what this dude does next.
Yeah.
Like, well, what's he gonna do next? You know, and that's kind of where he's at right now, and I think it's such a cool spot. And I feel like they don't have a ton of characters that are like that in WWE at the moment, and so I am very much so into everything that he's doing.
John L., I don't think Undisputed Era, all of them will get called up right away. I think eventually they will.
The thing about it is, though, it makes no sense to me for Adam Cole to go up and for everybody else to just stay in NXT. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, I love them. They are great. They are hilarious dudes.
Yeah.
But without Adam Cole, they're not doing anything. They're not going to do anything.
Well, I think it hurts them right now.
So that's why I think they just need to stay with him. I mean, they've been with him for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can just move over Adam Cole. I think they have to take everybody. And if they're not willing to take everybody, then you just need to say, sorry, Charlie, we are keeping them together. And unless you're taking all of them, you're not taking any of them. So I don't think any of them should move up. Honestly, with the track record, is it the smartest thing? Probably not. But is it kind of inevitable? Yeah, I think they're going to be moved over to Raw or SmackDown, just for like the reason Mr. G said, to possibly, potentially boost ratings. And I don't even know if that will work because their shows are just so, like, lackluster right now. It's not even funny. But I guess if they're running low on talent, too, that is actually, well, and is actually able to show up and work, then they might have no choice but to move some people around to fill in these different spots that are empty because they have some of their big superstars gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Owens is gone. Roman Reigns is gone.
I think you're going to have to move some people around because of the fact that you have some people who probably aren't coming back for a while.
Seth Rollins is around right now. He won't be in a while. Daniel Bryan's going to be gone. I mean, there's several big names right there that you don't have any show anymore. And so you kind of need to find some talent that can fill in these spots. And so if they have to, they're probably going to pull from NXT.
That's what I think.
The more NXT loses stars like Cole, the more NXT will suffer in ratings, so it's better to keep him there. I agree, but like Mr. G said, there's also Raw and SmackDown. And if they have nobody, what are they supposed to do?
NXT because you can say, well, this is our developmental talent. They're working on, they're trying to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Where...
And with people like 90% of the people that are on NXT right now that are on television are good. And
they're should have been there for a while.
Exactly. And so, I understand not wanting to bring them over, but at the same time, I get why they might be doing it, just for the different reasons of not having enough people.
Yeah, I think they need to do something because I think that right now with a lot of your stars being out, they're gonna have to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So after this, we get the Lee and Cole video package. I swear this was like 72 years long. This was like the longest video package ever. We then get told that next week... No, we're not. I'm kidding. I just skipped a whole bunch of stuff. Candace, Mia, and Johnny and Isaiah Swift Scott were backstage. At least I think it was Isaiah Swift Scott. And they were all like beating the crap out of each other. So that's fun. We then get Santos Escobar and Maverick. Santos Escobar and his crew come out. And they run their mouths and talk and stuff. And then Drake Maverick comes out and they all start fighting each other. And then after that, because Drake Maverick's getting the crap kicked out of him, Breezango comes out to save his butt. So then Breezango gets on the mic and is like, next week, why don't you fight us? Boom. And so...
Zandel, the problem is they are already stars. Most of the people that get called to the main roster have already been in NXT and have, established themselves in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they're seen as being good enough to go be on Raw or SmackDown. And so they just need to let them
do
themselves.
their thing. Exactly. So, then we get a Cameron Grimes interview, and I would assume he's probably talking about Damian Priest. Didn't listen to this either. So, yeah. Cool. We then get told next week, here we go, is what I was about to start talking about. We are getting a 6-man tag match, Maverick and Breezango versus Santos Escobar, Raul Mendoza, and Joaquin Wilde. We are getting Candice LeRae and Mia Yim in a street fight. That should be fun. And we are also getting Cole versus Lee in the winner-take-all match.
Yes. Who do you feel they should build up? Zandel?
I can see what he's saying.
Well, I know what he's saying, but they were already, look at the people they've had. They were already stars. They just brought them up and didn't let them be themselves.
Well, they
The
were
Viking
already
Raiders,
stars,
they
but
changed them.
yeah,
The
it's
Street
not.
Profits, they kind of kept the same way, but they made it even more of a joke.
Yeah,
Um,
Aleister Black. Aleister Black's been on TV. He's gotten wins, but he doesn't mean anything, honestly.
well, because they don't push them. Again, this is where your mid-card titles, they need to make more important. Because then if you have a mid-card title, since that's the goal, but they don't make any of the titles mean anything.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Ricochet, who's doing nothing.
Yes. Ricochet's at home eating bonbons.
No, he was at Raw the other day.
Yeah,
So, he's there, but...
Yeah, I know. Because he was Ryan O'Shea or whatever.
No, Richard O'Shea.
Richard O'Shea.
Jeez, man. R-Truth's favorite
Yeah.
superhero. Get it right.
Sorry.
Richard O'Shea, a.k.a. Rick O'Shea,
Yeah.
a.k.a. Richard O'Shea. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get that. It's fun. Next week should be good too. I'm excited for the LeRae and Yim street fight. I think that should be fun. I think it's kind of a culmination of their entire feud that they've had, and I think it'll be cool. It should be good. Should be enjoyable.
I get what you mean, Mr. G. I feel they need to let the wrestlers do what they get paid to do, be stars and wrestle. Yes, and that's the biggest issue. I think they don't do that. Do you think Lana and Natty are pairing up? Yes.
No, he said, "What do you think of Natty and Lana pairing up?"
What do y'all think of Natty and Lana pairing up? I'm cool with it.
I don't like it. Two of the most no.
Adds another women's tag team.
No, one of the most annoying females on the roster, and one of the, dare I say, least talented females on the roster. Not necessarily in ring rise. Natalia's fine. She's good in the ring, but her promos are terrible. I would rather sleep than watch her promos. So, yeah, I don't care. And then, like I said, Lana's just flat out annoying, so I just don't care. Don't like the pairing. Don't care.
I'm cool with it.
I don't care.
I like it.
And I don't like it. So we then get the main event. Sasha Banks versus Io Shirai. This is good. This is good stuff. So Banks came out with Bayley.
Natty and Lana should not be on TV. Simple.
That's... High five. So Banks came out with Bayley, and they came out in a car, and Sasha brought her dog with her. And it was great, and it was epic. Loved it. And Io came out, as cool as always. Her entrance theme is the best. And so yeah, it was a really good match. Really enjoyed this. I think both of them, they worked really well together actually, and it was cool. So we get through, we get going. It's epic, and then we get towards the end, and Asuka shows up because Bayley was trying to help Sasha. So Asuka shows up, and she took the belt from Sasha and then spit in her face.
Yes.
With the green mist. The green mist is back.
It is back.
I'm so excited. I love the
Yes.
green mist.
Asuka
The green
has
mist
COVID,
is...
and now she's gonna give it to everybody she spits on.
The green mist is so cool. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How you doing, Justin?
Like, that might be a bad idea.
Lana's good for managing, I think.
I don't think so. I don't think she's a good manager. I just don't think she's good, period.
Yeah.
You know? So, what are you doing? You're, like, moving my chair.
Yeah, I'm, like, trying to slide you back just there.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. So, you could have just said, hey, dude, slide back. And I would have been like, got it, dude.
Asuka's been heel.
Asuka's been heel?
Yeah.
She's not a heel. She's not a heel right now.
So that's why I said there's a fine line between being a heel and not being. Just because she can't spit the green mist.
No, she's not a heel.
She's a heel.
No, she isn't.
When you spit green mist in people's face, you're a heel.
Okay. Back then, a couple months ago, yeah. When they were feuding with Nikki and Alexa, yeah. When she first brought out the mist, yeah. She was a heel.
Wouldn't it suck if she like found out tomorrow she has COVID?
Dang, Sasha Banks better be like washing her face,
Yeah.
washing her nose, washing her insides because, ew.
I mean, how stupid is that? Why did they let her do that?
I don't know. She, I don't know. But she's probably like wearing a mask, being cool, you know.
Well, the Japanese culture just kind of does that anyway.
She's probably like, sick people stay away.
So
you know?
if she doesn't follow the American like way of life, then she's probably more apt to be wearing a mask.
Probably. Which is probably good. So, thanks, Neo. It was great. Loved it. So Asuka comes out. She helps even the odds, and she ends up spitting the green mist in Sasha's face. Io did a wonderful job covering it up. Like, when she went for the pin, she like put her leg over Sasha's face so you couldn't see the mist. I thought it was genius. It was amazing.
Keep going.
It was amazing. It was so genius. So genius. Like, they know what to do. Like, it's just great. I just love this. It was so good. That was a heel tactic. It might have been a heel tactic, but she's not being a heel. Sasha and Bayley are the heels in this scenario, so no, it wasn't a heel tactic. It was more so just even in the odds. At least in my opinion, it was.
Yeah.
So, yes, Io won. It was great. Loved it.
I mean, it was a good match. I think it was, and they do have good chemistry. I think you're going to see Io move over, especially if Kyrie's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Since she moved back to Japan.
That's not what happened. Oh my gosh. Jeez. So now we got to talk about AEW. Fyter Fest. This was so good. It's not even funny.
Yes. Not even funny. We're not going to laugh.
This was so good. Like, you have no idea. It was so good.
Yes.
Just, again, everything about this from top to bottom was amazing.
Yeah, I thought the whole night was good. Even like the matches that, some of the matches you wouldn't think of being like the big matches. I thought some of them were really good too.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So, are we ready to kick this thing off? I don't know what that was.
That was a drum roll.
Kick this thing off.
Drum roll this thing off.
I don't know, man. I don't know. So, MJF and Wardlow are fighting Jurassic Express first. This was good. Like this. MJF comes out at first, and he essentially is like, well, Jack Perry just needs to go away. I don't even understand why we're continuing this feud. The only reason we're continuing this feud is because we're in a ratings war, and you gotta have your boy, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, on the show so you can hit the peak ratings.
Yes.
Dang, shot number 1 of like 3 that were on this show tonight, and it was amazing. So, yeah. MJF. Shots fired. Like I said, fun match. Love this.
Definitely a good match.
Thought this was really good. Like,
I love the way they started it with MJF's promo. And then just the whole match was good, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of back and forth.
100% agree.
The tag match ruled.
Yeah, I like the tag match. It was good. It was good, man. So, Jurassic Express won.
Which tag match are you talking about?
Probably the main event, I would assume.
Private Party versus Ortiz and Santana ruled.
I mean, that one was good too. You might be talking about the Best Friends and Paige and Omega, though.
Yeah.
I would think. So, Jurassic Express won. I think this was the right choice. This was the right finish. This was the right idea. I think, I generally, 50-50 booking is not great. But it really hasn't been 50-50 booking, if that makes sense. MJF won the match against Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me so long to Jungle Boy.
Not sure about the Wardlow and MJF split tease, though. They've been kind of teasing that for a while now, but I think it'll be good. I think that you have them have some sort of feud for a little bit, and then you have Wardlow go and try and wrestle some of the other monsters in the singles division. I think that would probably work out well for both of them.
Agreed. So, yes, Jurassic Express won. I think this was the right choice. I think this was the right idea. It leaves it open to have another match.
Yes.
Which I like. And it gives Jurassic Express a win, which is good because I feel like, you know, they had a... Well, I wouldn't necessarily say Jurassic Express. I would say Jungle Boy had a really crappy 2019. Like, winning streak-wise, there was no winning streak because he never won a freaking match. So, I think this is, like, good for them to kind of establish that they are not some joke team, that they can win. And even though MJF accidentally hit Wardlow with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, you know, which kind of caused for the finish and them getting the win, I think it shows that Jurassic Express can, you know, do more than just be this fun-loving team, you know? So I think it's cool, and I like it, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yes, I agree.
So, after this, we get Joey Janela, and Sunny Kiss. Janela's getting attacked by Lance Archer. Next week, they're fighting one another, and this is going to be so fun.
How you doing, Will Fat Chinny? Who had the better show? I would say it depends on your taste, because I thought both of them were good. Me, personally, I'd go with, right now, AEW, just because I like AEW better right now. But they both had good shows.
I agree with that. Yeah. I would say for me personally, I'll kind of talk more on that once we get through the entire show.
I think that AEW just has built their storylines better.
I agree.
And they built this whole Fyter Fest thing up where
WWE really
NXT just kind of threw it together like last week.
The Great
and said,
American Bash.
This is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Totally, 100%. But I'll kind of share more thoughts on why I liked AEW better than NXT.
Hello, Mrs. Lee.
So, Janela gets attacked by Lance Archer. Next week, Janela and Archer are fighting each other. This should be fun. Can't wait for that match. I think Lance Archer is a monster. Joey Janela is just a crazy dude. And I think it'll be fun. But I think Lance Archer has to win. Because you can't have him lose.
Was there any women on the show?
Lose to...
on AEW? Yes, there was.
They can't have Archer lose 2 back-to-back feuds. So Archer has to win this. But I digress. We next.
Oh, we need a storyline behind this. I think.
The Joey Janela and Lance Archer
Yeah.
thing? I agree with you to an extent.
And I'm sure that, like, they'll build it and tell it.
Well, Joey Janela and Lance Archer are fighting, like, next week.
Yeah, I know, but why? Why?
I agree. I don't necessarily have a problem with it just because I'm really loving what they're doing with Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. I think the two of them together is such a smart move. I think they both just have, such big personalities, and the two of them together, it's like the best of both worlds, you know?
I
feel like they work so well, and they're very entertaining, and so I'm really liking what they're doing with that. And so then you have Lance Archer, who just attacked them out of the blue, and I would almost just say Lance Archer's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's a freaking monster. I don't necessarily think he needs to have a reason to want to beat somebody up, you know? I think he's just like...
Well, why'd you pick Joey Janela?
I don't know, just because he was there? Like... I don't know, maybe he just doesn't like fun. Maybe he doesn't like fun things.
Possible.
And he's just like, I don't like fun things, so I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Or maybe he's just like, I don't care who you are. You were there. I felt like beating you up. And here we are.
Yeah. Next segment, James, you're going to find out.
I don't necessarily have a problem with anything that they're doing here. And I can see why you want some more story, and I totally get that. But I'm cool with it. And I just would attribute this to just Lance Archer being a complete monster and just wanting to demolish anybody and everybody, you know? So we then get Shida versus Ford. Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford for the AEW Women's Championship. My gravy, this match was good. Oh my gosh. This, for me, was match of the night. This was so good. Penelope Ford is so underrated, it's not even funny. Like, people do not give her enough credit for what she can do. She is incredibly talented. She is incredibly athletic. She is incredibly flexible. It's ridiculous. And I feel like people do not give her enough credit for what she does.
I haven't been impressed with her. And then I felt tonight that they put on a good match.
Like, she's just so good. Everything that she has going on is so good. Like, her in-ring skills are good. I love what they have Penelope and Kip doing together. I think the two of them paired up is so great.
Yeah,
I think it's just so good. Like, you have no idea how good it is. It's amazing. And I love it.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. And she's so cool. And Shida's great too. Hikaru Shida, we already knew Shida was great. We already knew that she's one of the top women that they have in the division, obviously. I mean, she's their women's champion. She's amazing in the ring. She really can cut a decent promo too. But Penelope Ford, I think people have really been like sleeping on her, and they need to like wake up and pay attention because she...
Maybe I need to start watching AEW matches.
James,
the women's division has gotten better.
She really, like, people need to pay more attention to Penelope Ford because she has so much talent. It's ridiculous. And this was amazing. So, yeah, that's my match of the night. That'd be what I would pick there.
Yeah. Would
be this match because it was just so good from start to finish. Everything about it. Kip Sabian came out about halfway through. He got thrown out to start with, wasn't able to be at ringside. He came back out about halfway through with the kendo stick and tried to hit Shida upside the head because Penelope had the ref distracted with, she was like going to grab the championship or something, and the ref was like, no, you do this and I'm going to disqualify you. So don't do it. And she's like, but and while this is all going on, Kip is in the ring and he nearly hits Shida upside the head. It was hilarious to me. This was so bad, but it was hilarious. He got hit in the side of the head with like a kick, and he was holding the kendo stick, and he
And
just
threw it
like
in the air.
threw it up in the air. He did. It wasn't even just like like when I'm falling to the floor, I dropped it. He just like it just went straight up in the air and came down in Shida's hands, and it was so terrible, but it was so funny. And yeah, then he ended up getting beat upside the head, and it was just great. I just love this. So yeah, Shida won. She retained, and it was epic.
Yes, I agree.
So,
Definitely a good match. When is Chris Statlander coming back?
Not for a while. She had surgery on her ACL, I think.
Yes.
ACL, I think is what that was. And she is going to be out for a while. So we then get Cody versus Jake Hager for the TNT Championship. This was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. This was probably the match that I was least looking forward to on the card, believe it or not. I don't know. I didn't really care for this, like the build up to this or whatever. But this was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. There was a spot in this match again that really killed me. Hager's wife was out there, and there was a spot where she slapped Cody in the face, and she slapped him, and it was a good slap. It sounded like it hurt. Like she didn't like pretend at all. She just like pow, smacked him across the face, and after she does this, she goes like, oh shoot, I slapped him a lot harder than I meant to, and then she like the camera was there, and she like goes, and then she goes. And it was hilarious, just the way she was just so like shocked, like, oh, I slapped you a lot harder than I expected, like I was going to. But hey, shoot, sorry Cody, leave a mark on your face, ow. But it was hilarious.
I had low expectations for this just because of Hager. I thought that
this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. 100%. Hager, I don't know what it is about Hager. Just something.
You are correct, Maven. ACL.
Thank you. Something doesn't click with him. Like for me.
He's just different.
He is different. Which is good, but there's just something there that it doesn't click for me, and I don't get it. Like, he's good in the ring. I mean, he's a big dude. He's with Jericho. I mean, he doesn't do much talking. I guess he doesn't really have that much of a personality, so to speak, you know? He's always standing there like this. And it's fine and it's cool. But there's just something there that isn't clicking for me. And I just don't, it's not like he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad, because I don't think he's bad. I think he has his place in AEW, but it doesn't click for me. And I just don't get it, you know? So there's nothing about him that really wows me, which is why I'm not such a Jake Hager fan. Yeah. When it comes to his matches, I just don't care, you know? Or I have really low expectations, and I'm like, I don't know, this might be a little rough, you know? But this was better than I thought it was going to be.
I think would be better as a bodyguard or something like that. I agree. I think
kind of like the way they brought him in.
Yeah, I think the big issue is he is an average in-ring guy. He doesn't seem to, I don't know, in the ring it just doesn't seem like it's the flow isn't there. Mm-hmm. And so I think that hurts. Mm-hmm. I thought tonight's match was good though.
I agree. 100%. So, as for the finish of the match, Cody's beginning to use some, like, heel tactics. And people are like, is this the slow heel turn of Cody? It might be. Because this is not the first time that he's used, like, a heel sort of roll-up to kind of win.
The thing is, Cody has used, if you've watched him since AEW started, just some of the stuff that's taken place, you kind of get a sense of a heel kind of in there.
Yeah, so, I don't know, man. Cody retained the belt. It's cool. Epic. One other thing I want to say about this, Cody, the t-shirt he had on. So NXT, the Great American Bash. It's like the original the Great American Bash logo. Not the one that they use, but, we all know the Great American Bash logo, the original one.
Yes.
Cody wore a t-shirt tonight that said the American Nightmare, and it was in the original Great American Bash logo.
Yeah.
And what I find funny about the entire situation is he came out and said, "Oh, I'm not bitter about WWE using the name. I'm like, whatever, cool, fine, you can use it." And then he wears this t-shirt that's legit like the Great American Bash logo, and I'm like, "Oh, he says he's not bitter. Do you believe it? Because I don't believe it." I'd be a little bitter if I was him. I mean, like, his dad made that pay-per-view, and, like, I'd be a little bitter.
Yeah.
Like, this is a little side rant. The thing about this, with the entire thing of, like, the names of pay-per-views and stuff, WWE has trademarked so much, it's ridiculous, that, like, there are no pay-per-view names left that are from, like, the original, like, pay-per-views that, like, his dad may have made or come up with, or whatever the case may be. And there's, like, nothing left. Like, they trademarked everything, but they're not using any of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what sucks about the entire thing, is like, they trademark them, but then they are not using them, and they're not making current pay-per-views. I understand they've done pay-per-views in the past, but so what? They're not making new Halloween Havoc pay-per-views, or they're not making new Bash at the Beach pay-per-views, or whatever. And so, I don't get it. And it's a little irritating.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, and we kind of talked about this earlier, I think eventually you're going to see Halloween Havoc, just because I think that AEW will push something, right around the Halloween time, and we'll see Halloween Havoc come back. And it may be a shot at AEW, and more specifically at Cody.
Well, because Cody tried to get those names. He tried to get the names of different pay-per-views, but WWE fought back, and they were like, "No, you're not."
Do y'all see WWE sending Dakota Raquel to a Raw or SmackDown, and who would y'all like? I don't see them going, James.
Halloween this year is on a Saturday, so NXT does their takeover pay-per-views on Saturdays, generally. So I think there's a possibility that they could do a Halloween Havoc this year.
Yeah.
And literally do it on Halloween.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Cody retained. Neat stuff. We then get Private Party versus Santana and Ortiz. This is another good match. I really didn't have a problem with this. Private Party won, and next week they are fighting Omega and Paige for the Tag Team Championships.
Yes.
At least I think that's what I saw and
I think so.
heard correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's what's happening there.
Yes.
So Hangman and Omega defending twice.
Yeah.
Once this week, once next week. It's cool. They needed to come up with another match because it's been announced that Jon Moxley will not be fighting Brian Cage next week at Fyter Fest. He will be fighting Cage in 2 weeks at Fight for the Fallen.
Yes.
Because it's not safe for him to be there. So, I think this was smart on AEW's part. I think this was smart on Jon Moxley's part. I am very glad that he is taking the health and safety of his coworkers more seriously than other people have. And I think it's great. And I'm glad that he's doing that.
I agree.
And I'm glad that AEW is okay with him doing that because I'd much rather see Moxley and Cage fight, 3 weeks from now, a month from now, than, see him fight next week and potentially infect everybody at AEW.
Yes.
So then there are no shows. Because that would be bad. So, we get that. We then get Taz and Cage. They come out. Taz cuts a promo, and he shot, number 4 of the evening. He says something along the lines of, at least, he's talking about Moxley and how, you've been tested twice, you've been negative twice, why are you should just show up next week. And, you're not, because you know that you would be tested when you're here, and believe us, our testing is much better than other people's testing, much better than any other testing, that you would not be able to do anything if you tested positive. We'd be shutting down if you tested positive. And you know that if you showed up next week, you got tested. I mean, you don't want to come in. You're scared. It was a direct shot at WWE.
Yeah.
And their poor handling of COVID-19.
Pretty much.
I thought it was great. Thought it was amazing.
Renee wrote a cookbook. Should be out next week.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Is that what her news was?
Yep. She's making a cookbook.
All right. Well, good.
She likes to cook. She does cooking videos on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen
They're quite entertaining.
cookbook, so
So yeah, she made a cookbook. It's cool.
awesome.
So we then get the main event: Best Friends versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. The best part of this entire thing was Best Friends showing up. I kid you not. They get announced. And the challengers, driven to the ring by Trent's mom, Best Friends. It killed me because they were driven to the ring by Trent's mother in a minivan. It was hilarious. And then they just announced it that way. And it was hilarious. And I died. It was so funny.
One thing AEW does is, they put on a show, but they try and put on a show for a little bit of a show for everybody.
Mhm. I think it was amazing, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So we get that. The match was great. It was great. Paige and Omega retained, and then after FTR comes out, and they're all like, "Here, have a beer." Kenny Omega pours the beer in the ring, and Adam Page.
WWE.
Adam Page has this look on his face like, "No, you did not just do that. You did not just dump this beer on the ground. You did not just do that." FTR is all like taking their jackets off. They're like, excuse me? Did you just dump the beer on the floor, Kenny? What?" And they get all freaked out. And then the Young Bucks come out and they like break the entire thing up. And I kid you not, Adam Page was legit standing in the background just watching all this happening. And he was like, "What the heck, man?" Like he had this like, what? Look on his face, and it was hilarious. And I was like, that was funny. I love that. He's more concerned about the beer that just got dumped on the floor than Kenny Omega. It was hilarious. Oh, man. So this was great. I love this.
Well, I mean, they always... Paige is awesome at what he does. I love what he does with his stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And bringing in, FTR has made this tag division, outstanding. And I don't see Paige and Omega holding the titles much longer.
I don't think so.
Because I see them being more of individual wrestlers.
I agree. Honestly, I'm being dead serious here. I don't ever remember who Paige is tag team partners with. I completely forget that it's Kenny Omega. I really do. I can remember that Adam Page is tag team champ. He's a tag team champ. I just don't ever remember Omega.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's Adam Page, and it takes me 2 minutes. I'm like, what's his name? Kenny Omega. That's who it is. That's who he's tag champs with. And so, yeah, I don't ever remember. There's not, and I don't know if this is just I just really don't care for Kenny Omega problem, or if it's I legit just can't remember. I just don't know. Because I really don't I have nothing against Kenny Omega, but I don't find him as entertaining as other people do. I don't think he's as good as other people say he is.
He's okay. I mean, for his style, he's not the type of style that I like.
That might be more what it is. I don't know. He's good, and he's cool, and he has good matches. I'm not denying that. But I don't know. He's not my favorite,
Yeah, I agree.
And everybody has their favorites, and Kenny Omega's just not it for me. Yeah. I just don't necessarily love everything that he does. So, AEW, and why I thought it was better. AEW, throughout this entire thing, not only just the pandemic, but just overall as a whole. They just make it so fun. And, I mean, now specifically talking about during the pandemic era and having, the wrestlers in the crowd and stuff. It just seems like it's a good time,
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's this huge production, it's this huge show. it doesn't feel like that.
Well, I think, again, like I said, they show a little bit of everything.
And I don't know, I feel like it's just not more relatable, but relatable? Does that make sense? Like, it's not as over the top and overdone as WWE can be sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like AEW, it just seems like everybody's having a
Hope Dana's on
good
SmackDown
time.
Friday night.
It just seems like everybody's out there having fun, whether they're standing in the crowd cheering for people, or whether they are, you know, in the ring wrestling, or whether they're on commentary, or whether they're just sitting by the commentary desk. It doesn't matter what it is. They just look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes with the WWE, it doesn't look like that. It looks like they come out and they're just there to do their job. And it doesn't look like they're having fun, you know? Like, with AEW, it looks like everybody involved is having fun doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they enjoy what they're doing. And, you know, with WWE, sometimes it doesn't. And so that's why I liked AEW better than NXT tonight. Just because it was more of like, I don't know, a fun, you know, like involving the fans, you know? Like, I feel like just because it's not so overdone, it feels more like I said, relatable, I guess.
I know what you're saying.
You know? So, yes.
James, sorry. No hopes for that. No one hopes for that.
Sorry, Zendel, says you. James. No, Dana. We don't need Dana on SmackDown. I'm good. I don't need it.
She might have to be on because, like,
I'm good.
people not showing up.
No, I'm good. I don't need that.
All right. I think that's our show.
I think so. I'm not seeing anything else. I don't think.
No news.
I don't think so.
All right. We'll be back Friday. SmackDown. If we have any news then, we'll let you know about any news. We've talked about doing something a little bit different with our shows. We'll kind of let you know Friday what we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we'll see you Friday, and everybody, peace out.